Boy, there is a lot of interesting things happening with Jeffrey Epstein. And I want to make this very clear. There's a lot of rumor, okay? There's a lot of stuff that we haven't been able to independently confirm yet. So some of the latest screams and yells were heard from Epstein's cell the night that he died, okay? And again, I don't have independent confirmation of this. There are so-called anonymous sources. You know how I feel about anonymous sources without documentation or proof. Now, there's another thing. The latest explanation as to why Jeffrey Epstein's suicide was not prevented is that his guards were asleep for the 3 hours before it happened and later falsified records to make it look as if they had checked on Epstein. I think there was something that came out over the weekend, last weekend or something like that, that they hadn't checked on him in like 5 hours or something. The two staff members in the special housing unit where Epstein was held, 9 South, falsely recorded in a log that they had checked on the financier, who was facing sex trafficking charges every 30 minutes as was required, according to the New York Times. Now, the guards had, in fact, been asleep for some or all of the 3 hours, according to the report. By the way, the warden of the prison has been transferred to a different prison and kind of seen as a demotion. But now, you have to understand something. They have been saying from the very beginning that the guards were working like 80-hour weeks. So everybody was overworked. Everybody was super tired. So again, I want to stress that this is all plausible as an accurate statement. Okay. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today again, and he's of the impression that Epstein's still alive. And I firmly believe this very concrete thing. Okay. So I'm going to finally give you a definitive answer to what my opinion and feelings are on the Jeffrey Epstein so-called suicide. Okay. This is my stance. I believe that Jeffrey Epstein is either alive or dead. That's what I believe. Okay. It's one of those two, because either of them is plausible. All right. At this point in time, it is certainly possible that he is alive and being held in witness protection. As I've said before, this has happened before. It has been done before. And I also think it's entirely possible that he is dead. If he is dead, I think that it is most likely that he killed himself. I also think it is very possible that somebody offed him. All right. Now, remember, he said that somebody tried to kill him the last time they said that he tried to commit suicide. But at the end of the day, I honestly have no feelings passionately in either direction on this. And I think that it's all possible. I really do. This isn't one of those things where I look at it and go, you guys are all nuts for thinking this. There's just too many things. Again, simplest explanation. I know we've already said this a million times. The simplest explanation is often the most accurate. Okay. That would be he killed himself in his cell, some way, shape, or form. Now, there is somebody who used to be in that jail, and a lot of people are giving this traction, running out there and saying, yeah, but the sheets in the cells are not like sheets. It's like more like paper. Okay, but you can make paper into rope. You can track the fibers on that thing. It becomes strong. You can absolutely hang yourself with paper. Okay, it can happen. So the notion that just because the sheets were paper-esque doesn't mean he can't twist them up and create rope with it. He certainly can, and he can certainly do enough damage to kill himself. Just because they're paper sheets doesn't mean anything, all right? I've seen a lot of people kind of run with that. You have to understand there is something called paper micarta. Now, I understand that resin is involved, but paper micarta is just layers of paper. I can make it with normal paper, all right? This is handle scale material for knives, and it is used for a whole host of other things. All you do is you take a piece of paper, put some resin on there, lay another piece of paper on top, put some resin on that, lay another piece of paper on top, put some resin on that, and it becomes one of the hardest materials that you can have in your own house. All right, it's very durable, very strong. So yeah, paper can be very, very strong given the right circumstances. If you have long pieces of paper, you can twist it. Everybody knows this. Tear a newspaper in half. Easy to tear a newspaper in half. Take the newspaper, roll it up into a twisted pile, and now try and tear it in half. You can't. So it's easy to have that happen if that person's even being accurate about the sheets, and I don't know that it is. I'm just saying it's plausible. Okay. So anyway, it was during those 3 hours that these guards were asleep that Epstein allegedly hanged himself using bed sheets. However, some contend that the whole incompetence angle now being pushed by the media is simply a distraction from what really happened. So now I want to make this crystal clear. there's a bunch of people on the left and a bunch of people on the right and a bunch of people in the middle who all think that this does not pass the smell test, that this is just extremely odd, extremely weird, and very, very strange. Apparently, I have heard the FBI is involved in the Virgin Island raids. So some people are not the FBI, but the New York Police Department. So now some people are why is the NYPD out there, that sort of thing. But it is the Second District of New York who's doing this. So there's a lot of questions that have to be answered, and there's some other stuff going on too that people have told me, and I've seen in reports that would seem to suggest that there is a major sort of an operation happening right now. So that makes me think, one of two things: he is alive, and he's talking, and this is really big. The other thing is he's dead. And this is really, really big. We know something that hasn't been released to the public yet, and this is extremely big. And they're just making sure that they get all of the information. Okay, and like I said, it's possible he just killed himself in his cell. However, there is so much lining up here. It seems like a Hollywood script, right? Allegedly, he's on suicide watch. Then all of a sudden, his lawyer requests he's not on suicide watch. Then he dies. He had a cellmate, which I don't know that I know is true, but allegedly had a cellmate, and cellmate was transferred out right before he died. I don't know why he would have a cellmate under suicide watch. But then again, they took him off the suicide watch. So I suppose it's possible he had a cellmate. I don't know. So then he's dead right after that. Of course, he dies the early morning, right after the 2,000 pages are released in the court case with him, which doesn't look very good for him at all. There's a whole bunch of weird things that just kind of line up, and I totally get why people are skeptical of either story here. All right, but I also don't want anybody to go down the rabbit hole and just super go nutso over this or anything like that, like they did with 9/11 and some of the other conspiracies that didn't have any evidence. But this is, again, very, very strange, no doubt about that. And either way could be true. Dave, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
How are we doing, Casey?
I'm doing well. What's up?
Hey, I heard you talking about the breaking stuff on the Epstein thing, and I think you had left one of the things out that I had heard.
Okay.
And that was that one of the guards, he actually died in a horrible accident tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. You're like the third person to call me on that this week. You realize that, right, Dave?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, somebody yesterday, somebody the day before.
I tried getting
Look, if that happens, all right, you got me. I'll grab the tinfoil. I'll go to the dollar store, I'll get the tinfoil sheets, and I'll wear it. Okay, I'll wear it for the whole live stream if that happens.
Sorry, I wasn't the first. Okay.
No, but here's the thing. Okay, there are prominent members of the media who are laying out the things that everybody else is laying out. And I saw a couple of them go, I'm officially a conspiracy theorist on this. So there's people on the left, people on the right. There are bloggers. There are everyday Americans. There are people in prominent media with verified blue check marks on Twitter who are all saying the same thing. Now, they all think somebody on the opposite political end of the spectrum killed him, but they all think that this is a conspiracy of some kind. So, and right. the sheer number of, shall we say, prominent so-called educated people who believe that this was not a suicide should probably at the very least give your average everyday American pause and go, why is it that so many people believe that this isn't a suicide? It's just weird.
You're taking the proper tack on this, in that there's no way to know it. And I mean, they could be covering something up, or it could be exactly what they're telling us. Who knows? Sure.
And look, the investigation just started. The guy just died. Everybody's like, well, where's the camera footage? They wouldn't release the camera footage this early. That would never happen in an investigation like this. Never in a million years would they release the hallway camera footage of this. So you wouldn't know right now. And,
right.
At the end of the day, they may have the camera footage as they conduct their investigation. They said the coroner is still waiting for stuff to come into. They may conduct their investigation, and they might release the camera footage, and they will show you, and people will go through and scrutinize that no frames were cut out or anything else. Nobody went into a cell. Or there will be some silver-haired gray fox guy who is running around with a blue suit and a blue tie like Bill Clinton does, and he sneaks into the guy's cell and kills him. I don't know.
Right.
I've got no idea. Or it's Chelsea. Somebody said that Chelsea's the hitman of the family. I had no idea.
I think I got a better chance of guessing the Powerball numbers and trying to figure out what happened there.
Yeah, it's so early, but there's no doubt that this is unusual. And killing himself is not unusual. The circumstances surrounding his death are unusual. So that's where everybody is looking at this and going, and it could very well be a perfect storm of a prison overworking their guards 80 hours a week, and you pass out for 3 hours. You don't want to get in trouble, so you lie and you go, yeah, we totally checked on the guy. That's, again, it's plausible that that's what really happened, but we don't know yet.
Right.
All right. I got to roll, man. Appreciate the call.
Yep.
All right. Take care. I just wanted to give you guys the updates. The guards now, according to the New York Times, the guards fell asleep for 3 hours and then lied about it on the paperwork. Okay. So I'm just giving you the updates on it. I'm not here to peddle one or the other conspiracy theory. I'm just letting you know what the latest is. We've got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.